E, 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 E. We're reading in the writings of Rush the article. What are the light MIT that person tramples with his heels in the work? You can find the study materials in the app, in our website, in the food system. You can also send us questions live through our website here in the study hall. Anyone who wants to ask a question is asked to stand up, hold the microphone close to his mouth and speak loud and clear. Article. What are the light MIT that a person tramples with his heels in the work? About the verse, and it shall come to pass because you listen and keep and do them, and the Lord your God will keep with you the covenant and the mercy that he swore to your forefathers. She interpreted as follows: if the MITV commandments are light which a person tramples with his feet, you will listen, and the Lord will keep with you his promise. We should understand what does it mean to us that if a person observes the light, a mighty Creator will keep with you the oath. Understand this condition, which implies that otherwise it is as though he cannot keep the oath to your forefathers. Understand what the interpreters ask. Where does he begin? With plural form in Hebrew, keep and do, and ends in singular form in Hebrew, he will keep with you. To understand this, we first need to understand the meaning of the 63 that we were given in general in the introduction to the book. Thus, it is written, in they are called make deposits, as well as 613:18 are may counsels. The difference between them is that in all things there is anterior and a posterior. The preparation for something is called posterior, and the attainment of the matter is called anterior. LLY intura. And there are we shall do, and we shall hear, observing and as doers of his word, prior to being rewarded with hearing. The MITV are called 613 counsels, and they are regarded as posterior when rewarded with hearing the voice of his word. The 63 become from the word P, deposit. There is so, this is so, because there are 63 MIT wherein each mitzvah commandment, the light of a unique degree, is deposited corresponding to a specific organ in the 63 organs and tendons of the soul. This is the interior of the doers of his word is during the preparation, meaning before person is rewarded with hearing the voice of his word. For hearing specifically, when a person has been rewarded with vessels of veo, because only then he has a receptacle for the abundance to clothe in vessels. The pistil at that time he has ears to hear the voice of the Creator while he's still immersed in vessels of reception. The person must work in doing action. The body disagrees to work for the sake of the Creator. Rather, he must believe that although he's in a state of loneliness, meaning that the body disagrees with this work to work for the sake of the Creator, nevertheless the Creator enjoys this, because in a state of loneliness the person feels that he needs the Creator's help. At that time he has close contact with the Creator, since he feels that he has no other way. Only the Creator can save him and deliver him from this loneliness. However, the person asks himself, where are the Creator's justice and integrity? He labors and observes too, and he wants no reward for this. He wants to work for the sake of the Creator, as it is written in the said work, because he wants to serve a great king, meaning because he is great and ruling. When he asks the Creator to let him feel his greatness, and the person believes that the Creator hears the prayer of every mouth each day, he stands and waits to have more feeling of the greatness of the Creator. In the end he sees that he has come to greater loneliness. In other words, he feels that people on the street are not as immersed in self-love. So the person asks how come people on the street who have no prayer that the Creator will deliver them from self-love are fine. Sees that they feel the order of the work is utter completeness, meaning they know that each day they are advancing, meaning that their possessions are growing. As I said once, that each of them has a log where he sees how many MITV were registered to his name, day how many pages of he can write in his Log on the counter see the opposite, that each day he is worse than the day before. When a person introspects, he sees that he has several ascents each day until he sometimes thinks, now I am certain that I reached my goal, not as it was until now. Suddenly thoughts that confuse him come to him, he forgets everything, meaning he completely forgets even about the ascents and feels nothing but loneliness. Now after all the work he has done, he has become worse than ever. He begins to look at himself and finds not one good deed. He feels as though he never observed. The question is, how can a person explain these feelings to himself? Are they true or false? Is with respect to reality. In reality cannot be erased, certainly exerted, certainly observed. According to his feeling, it all disappeared. Question is, where did they go? Meaning, who took them? He does not feel them. He cannot say that he's suffering from amnesia. This is why he has forgotten everything. All he sees that he does remember the bad things he did. The answer is that we must believe in the SES, as it says in the said, which interprets what is written, or make it known to him that he has sinned. It asks who makes it known to him, and it explains the Torah. We explain by learning Torah with the intention to achieve the truth, meaning to truly be a servant of the Greater, that is by observing to he does not mean to work for himself, meaning that he will receive reward. He wants to observe. Said, I've created the evil inclination. I've created the Torah as a spice, that is, he learns Torah as a counsel by which to truly become a servant of the Creator, meaning that he wants to work for the sake of the Creator. This is why the Torah notifies him that he has signed. This means that the order of the Torah is a spice, is that first it lets him know that he has sinned, meaning how immersed he is in self-love. This is regard, is the tea, which is the spice, gives him the vessel, meaning the lack, so he will need the Creator's help. It follows that the Torah notifies him that his faith in the Creator is something foreign to him. Differently, he feels how far he is from the Creator, that the Creator to him is like a stranger, as said about the verse, there shall be no strange God within you. God means that the Creator should not be to you like something foreign which you have no connection. Person is immersed in self-love, which is disparity of form from the Creator, since the Creator wants only to bestow, while a person by nature wants only to receive. This reason he and I cannot dwell in the same abode, that where one should have felt close to the Creator, he feels remoteness from the Creator. This is what the Torah makes him know. One who learns Torah, since he believes in the words of our sages, who said, the Creator said, I've created the evil inclination, created the Torah as a spice. Spice is given to a person, so he will feel how far he is from the Creator. It follows that the Torah gave man the vessel, meaning the lack, in order for men to ask the Creator to deliver him from exile, called the exile in Egypt. It is known that Enro, or Egypt, means so, or jealous, that is, a person has no power to bestow but only to receive. Although he sees that it is impossible to approach the Creator before all his actions are in order to bestow, he nonetheless sees that there is no way will be able to achieve this his help. We already said many times why the Creator did this mean that there will be no option for a person to emerge from Pharaoh's control. The answer is, as said about what Abraham asked the Creator. The Creator promised him the inheritance of the land. How will I know that I will inherit it? He said to Abraham, know that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs. He said that Abraham's question was that Abraham saw what would be the inheritance of the land, which is Mal, that carries the upper abundance, which contains the 5 phases. Alpha. K. Also it is known that there is no light without a vessel, no thing we a need. Yet Abraham saw that Israel have no need to obtain the completion of their degree. Rather, if they attain a little bit of illumination from above, they will already be satisfied. Naturally, they would have no need to obtain that is Inkel. in the inheritance of the land. So how said Abraham will they receive the light when they have no vessels hold a need? At that time the Creator told him, know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs. Words the people of Israel will be in an land, meaning desire at, does not belong to the people of Israel. Rather they will be under the governance of the will to receive belongs to Pharaoh king of Egypt. They will be tormented, meaning that the people of Israel will suffer because they are unable to work in order to bestow, which would bring them adhesion with the Creator. At that time they will need the Creator's help written, and their cry rose up to God from the work, and God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham. Our sages said, he who comes to purify heat that asks how is he aed, and it replies with a holy soul. In other words, first one is given, niche awarded more. He's given. This means that to the extent that one comes to purify himself and demands help, the help he's from above considered part of the inheritance of the land. To the above we should interpret what we asked, why when a person begins to learn Torah, for the reason that the Torah is called a spice when one begins to walk on the path of truth, where the Torah eyes is 18 counsels, meaning counsels how to conquer the evil inclination. The person begins to see how each time, instead of feeling closer to the Creator, he has become father. Is this the way of Torah by which one becomes father from the Creator? The answer was that the Torah first gives him a vessel, meaning a lat, to see how far he is from the Creator. This is why the Z says that the Torah notifies him that he has sinned. It follows that one should not say that he is studying Torah in truth. So why does the Torah not help him? Is a spice. Answer is that one should believe even the stages the Torah does help him by revealing to him that he has sinned, meaning how far he is from the Creator, and because of it he can pray from the bottom of his heart, since he feels that he is worse than other people. If he asks himself, you will see that he makes more efforts to observe to why does he feel that he is worse. Person cannot answer this. He says that in terms of the feeling he feels, I feel that now I'm worse than when I engage in I started to walk on the path of truth. In other words, in everything he does he sees that it is all half-heartedly, and as before this is as said Creator said to Abraham, know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and they will be tormented by this. They will have a need to inherit the land that is by the lack that they will have when they are bare and destitute. They will be in a state of, and the children of Israel sighed from the work. Their cry rose up to God from the work. Other words, the work itself, fact that they are not progressing in work, but on the contrary will create their need, and then the help from the Creator, and then the Creator will help them each time they want to be more refined. By this they will have vessels to receive the inheritance of the land. According to the we should interpret what we asked, and it came to pass because you listen, the Lord your God will keep with you the covenant and the mercy that he swore to your effort. Farther she interpreted, if the light mit which a person tramples with his heels, you will listen, and the Lord will keep with you his promise. You should understand this condition, that if you keep the light once, then the Creator will keep his promise, otherwise will not keep the oath. The thing is that light means things that people belittle, referring to the mind and the heart. That is all. The when observing them in order to receive reward, to receive reward, a person does not belittle. Instead, all of these are called serious, since they might cause the loss of their reward. Therefore the reward they expect to receive in return for them makes the mitzvah important. In other words, the reward makes them valuable. But when a person should work for the sake of the Creator, which is to him above reason, a person has no regard for this, since the body resists working for no reward. Therefore when we say to the body that we must work only in order to bestow upon the Creator. Body this is far from the mind, and it is not worth straining for such work. Then the person sees that he cannot overcome the body. Bam explained the fact that it is not within men's power to emerge from the control of the will to receive for himself. The Creator did this on purpose, so that by this a person will acquire a need for the Creator's help, for otherwise he is lost. When a person asks the Creator to help him, by this he receives help from above. This is the line of the Torah, which reforms him, said in the that by this he receives vessels and need to attain the of. And this was the Creator's answer to Abraham's question, how will I know that I will inherit? I took Bali. When a person wants to observe the light commandments, he needs the Creator's help. Otherwise, if a person has no need to observe the light commandments, which are contemptible commandments, then he does not need the Creator's help. Since he has no need for the Creator to help him by giving him, since he has no need for this, so Abraham's question, how will I know that I will inherit it, returns, he has no need to obtain the inheritance of the land. Therefore follows that the Creator cannot keep the oath concerning the inheritance of the land. For this reason Rashi's interpretation, where he says that if you keep the light Mitivi commandments, the Creator will be able to keep, and the Lord will keep, meaning that the Creator will keep his promise, otherwise it is impossible to keep his promise. Accordingly, we should interpret what we asked. Why does it begin in plural form, do and keep, and ends in a singular form? The answer is that when a person begins to work, he has two authorities: his own authority, namely the will to receive, and he also wants to work for the Creator. And when a person sees that he has two authorities, he asks the Creator to help him cancel his authority and leave only the singular authority, meaning the authority of the Creator. Creator helps him annul the authority and leaves men with only the singular authority. This is why it is written in a singular form, and the Lord your God will keep with you, meaning that the Creator will keep him, so he will have only the singular authority. According to the above, we can understand what is written is not for your righteousness or the integrity of your heart that you are going to inherit their land. It is because of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord your God is driving them out before you, in order to confirm the oath which the Lord swore to their forefathers to Abraham. Understand this: if the Creator wants to give the inheritance of the land to Israel because he swore to your forefathers to Abraham, it means that the person he gave the inheritance of the land to, the people of Israel, he promised to Abraham the inheritance of their land. But here the verse says that the person he gave the inheritance of the land was the wickedness of the nations. This implies that were it not for the wickedness of the nations, he would not be able to keep his promise to the forefathers. We should understand why it is that if there is the wickedness of the nations, the Creator can keep the oath, and because of your righteousness or the integrity of your heart, the Creator cannot keep the earth. According to the above in the work, the wickedness of the nations means that evil within men's heart, a person cannot defeat it and must cry out to the Creator to help him and liberate him from the governance of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. How does he help him? It is as it is said in the soul with the holy soul. This means that each time he asks for help, he's the holy soul by being in exile and wanting to emerge from exile, meaning when a person feels that he has the wickedness of the nations who are not letting him work for the sake of their Creator, but only for himself, this is regarded as having to work for the sake of the nations of the world within his body. And this is as it is written, and they built for Pharaoh cities of affliction. Ram Sam interpreted that when they wanted to work for the sake of the Creator and overcome the control of the Egyptians, this is the meaning of Bramis, meaning that they overcame self-love, like wrath under horse, meaning with great power, like a horse. They thought that they had already emerged from the governance of self-love. Then they came to the mouth of the Ab, meaning that all The buildings that they had built sank, and were swallowed in the abyss, and not a remnant was left of the work. This is called, in other words, each time they had work in the manner of, and Rhames, meaning that each day they had to work. New each day they felt that as though today they began the work of holiness, and felt as though until now they had never engaged in the work. They asked themselves, where did the work and labour they had done thus far vanish, that they do not know what to answer. As was said, it all sank and was swallowed in the ground. They could not tell their bodies, why do you not want to exert today after all yesterday you saw that when you laboured you received the strength to work? He cannot receive something from yesterday. He does not feel that yesterday he did something, for it was all swallowed in the ground. Indeed, why is this? So this is a correction. It follows that if a person looks at himself and he has good deeds, he has no need to ask the Creator to help him, since anyhow he has no place in which to receive help from the Creator, as there is no filling without a lack. Thus the Creator cannot keep the oath concerning the inheritance of the land, since they have no need that he will give to them the inheritance of the land. This is why he says, it is not for your righteousness or the integrity of your heart you're going to inherit their land. Why? Because if they are fine they have no need, and this is the meaning of the words. It is because of the wickedness of these nations that the Lord your God is driving them out, since because of the evil in his body there is a need for help. Okay, if we will try to go like this through all the articles about Passover, it will be something. Questions can a person do or should do in order to reach a feeling of such loneliness that he's the worst of everyone, according to what we see from where article we should see simply flow along with whatever we get from the Creator, whatever guidance, and this is enough in order for us to feel all the flaws in us. What is it that we have to correct in order to reach the goal? Yeah, right, to be worse than all other people. Do mean to flow, you said needs to flow. To flow along means that I need to do whatever is upon me to do each and every day, and this is how I reach a state where the people of Israel side from the work, and for that there's already I get an answer, help from the Creator. He also writes that the Torah is called spice that gives one a deficiency to need the Creator. When the person asks to advance and they ask for help from above, they give you, holy soul, a deficiency. On the other hand, a few paragraphs later, he says the Torah gives one advice on how to conquer the evil inclination. So the Torah gives you both the deficiency and the feeling that he's in self-love, and also the advice on how to conquer the evil inclination, but it doesn't write what are the advice. The advice is where is it written? Where can you find it? Apparently we need to discover the deficiency, and I walk forward in this way until the deficiency itself becomes a vessel for the revelation of the Creator. Again, that when you follow the path of Torah, the Torah reveals to a person who he is, and he says this is a sin, but the Creator does everything. So why is it considered a sin? If the Creator does everything, person only rals it, that's okay, it doesn't matter. So the Creator did a man like that he was born in sin and he lives in. How should a person relate to the when he's notified that he has signed he to turn to the Creator? No, he needs to discover that the sin that exists in him, that he feels within him, is the desire to receive in order to receive, and that he must rise out of it. The Creator does it, of course. So what? So why is it considered a sin? Sin is something that seemingly that I shouldn't be doing. It's my responsibility. A person never does anything. I'll remain with a question. The friend he talks about two authorities. The person feels he has his own authority. The authority of the Creator is what needs to be everything to be within the authority of the Creator regarding our perception of reality. To yearn to see the reality, all of it comes from the Creator, and I want to see it all like this, and I don't exist. What does it mean to be under one authority? This is how one should direct himself, that everything is from him and for him. What about man's personality? It doesn't exist. Thank you. Everything from him and everything for him and I or the person seeking connection with him is consistently flawed and unworthy. That's a situation, but if he's content with himself, then he disconnects. Is that what he's saying? I didn't understand. I'm asking if a person feels himself. Person should always be in a feeling that he's flawed and ask for correction. Yes, and if a person is content with himself, he looks back. Went through a process. I've done this and this happened. I'm okay. If he has such a feeling, it means that he disconnected already. Yes, right. Even though a person, instead of loneliness meaning the body doesn't agree, disagrees with this work to work for the sake of the creator, still the creator enjoys this, because in the state of loneliness a person feels that he needs the creator's help. What does the creator enjoy? Precisely the fact that the person makes all the efforts in order to be worthy of receiving help. When a person suffers, the creator suffers too, possibly to certain extent. What is considered loneliness by a person of their person? The said of the person loneliness means that he doesn't have what he wants. He says when a person comes to be purified, he ad in what? In a holy soul. Also adds if he's rewarded, he's given. If he's rewarded more, he receives. How does a person feel at first? How does it feel? What is this? How does this help work? I don't understand. It's a force that he gets from above, force to overcome, the force to overcome a difference between and simply because of her. Yes, thank you. It says that a person has to come to a state where is naked and has nothing the creator gave him, then the creator took from him. Does a person hold on to this state? He says that after this such a state was this. Sigh. The question is, where does a person get the power to stand like this in front of the creator? From the creator, yeah, but the creator just took everything from him. Everything he gave him, and the person is left naked and with no possessions whatsoever. So what does it mean after such a state that he truly turns to the creator? Truly, how can he truly turn to the creator after the creator has led him to such a state? Well, one isn't related to the other. He feels that he had a force once and now he doesn't have it anymore, and he ascribes it to the Cree, and he demands. Yes, awareness. He Wes person cannot leave the authority of the world to receive Cree did it by that a person will receive the need for the help of the creator. Otherwise he's lost this awareness that everything the creator is the one who taking a person to all these states. How does that influence a person? With his attitude, with his perception of reality. Influences the person when he sees how much he's related to the creator, dependent on him, connected to him, and it brings the person closer to the creator, and the creator becomes for him the source or everything, the deficiency as well as the feeling. You there's life. A person lives. The other hand, he writes later that he describes a state where a person forgets everything, even the accent alto. What's the purpose of the forgetting? This seems like there's a disconnection here, that a person will be immersed in that feeling, that state that the creator is taking him through. He'll be immersed. He doesn't know he's immersed. He's disconnected. Oh, he feels it. He feels his state. When he forgets, he knows that he forgets. Oh, he didn't forget, because he describes the state, the forgetfulness complete. He says you saw yesterday that when you exerted later, you receive the power for work, because it doesn't feel like he did something yesterday. Everything was swallowed in there ground. Why is it so that this is correction, that he forgot that he did everything yesterday? Everything is zero. So the question is, what is the correction here with this lack of awareness? The correction is in that a person can ask again, request again, like yesterday, and even more person is given an opportunity each time to start anew. Yes, with an efficiency, with a new efficiency. This is called correction. Yes, thank you. No, I continue to scrutinize This today can be asked more than yesterday. Yesterday, we read an article. Also spoke about the inheritance of the land, and you said that you lack passion. We have a mountain of justifications, and you give an example of your attitude where you say, what will I have today? 25 hours from now I'll have the same desires, the same thoughts, and it's pushing you toward the request. Where demands now I'm looking at us today. Relatively yesterday, we try to work with the article and with your advice and awaken in ourselves a new passion, new prayer, and we came to today. Sure, he writes also every day, you need to have this work anew. I'm looking at the day ahead, and once again I say, what will be 24 hours from now be? In the same desire, the same how today, can we extract the prayer that will be greater than yesterday, a yearning greater than yesterday's. It depends on how you accept what you have today. Maybe you don't open up your vessels, and you don't feel that today you have a greater deficiency than yesterday. So how to do it, how to open it? You open it up by our regretting more today. State that it is worse than yesterday, something that from day to day we need to have greater sorrow. Yes, each day I feel there's more distance from the Creator. I'm more in exile. There's a feeling that you're stuck in place. It's not the same place. How do we increase this feeling of exile every day? Have this work anew. Everything that was yesterday was erased. All the efforts, all the passion, the spirits all erased, and today we have an opportunity to ask new. Yes, how do we feel it is more than yesterday? Because what you had yesterday, you also have it, but today you have a deficiency upon the deficiency you had yesterday. Again, on the other hand, even though we should have more sorrow, more deficiency, and a person feels himself more flawed, he also needs to be full of gratitude and satisfied with the state. And bless, otherwise is not adhere to the bless. How do you do it? That I understand along with that I lack nothing besides the vessel, and the vessel means lack or the fact that I'm not in a tune with the Creator, and then I must enter into this feeling and try to be in this feeling until a true need is born within me for connection with the Creator. Just when a person makes effort to bless and justify and agree and say everything happens is perfect and everything it blurs is true, need no, I'm not saying everything is perfect. So what am I saying? Again, I am saying that I am in a bad feeling. So what is this wholeness of the right line that I have to adhere to every day, all day? Well, as much as I try, I nevertheless see that I'm on the left, so the work is constantly on the right. If I work correctly to try to give thanks, well, if you can, there is no choice. I see that I nevertheless am lacking. I'm lacking. Who was it that a person received the need for the help of the Creator, or otherwise he's lost? This line repeats itself of different styles throughout the article. In the end, the person should receive the need for the help of the Creator. Question is, we talk a lot between us about how great is the Creator. We read about it. Why is it so difficult for us to ask for help? Because it's not so difficult to ask for help from a great person. Why is it so difficult? A great person also has great efficiencies and great attainments, but here not. Yet I never received anything from the Creator, yet according to my feelings. So how will I turn to Him and ask? So there's a kind of the question is, we say how great is the Creator, we speak about it, okay, so we do need to speak less, meaning we speak much, but in practice we can't succeed in seeing Him as great. How can we see the Creator is great as the giver? It's all through faith. I read in some pages that this is what they think about the Creator, that He's great and terrible and giving and includes everything, but I just read that, so maybe talking about it gives us an illusion and then a disappointment. I have to become incorporated in that, so it will all pass through me. Then out of this impression, when it passes through me, I will have a different relation. The talk about see as a means and taking it to work with. Well, we're not going to succeed that way. That is as great we want and succeed. We have to actually work in it, but it is written that NVL and Honor take a person out of this world so. Maybe yes discover thatcher and not and how. Come and then through envy and L and honor, we will be able to organize it. Through deficiency so we should continue. Speaking about the greatness of the Creator, we shouldn't stop even. Though between, as we said person once, to ask it doesn't feel the Creator is great, he doesn't have anyone to turn to. So to continue speaking about his greatness between us, do you have anything else? What he said may be envy less, and honor question is how to act with it, not just talk about it, but to show the Creator is great like through personal example. Maybe that's the way to show that he's great instead of to speak about it. Ask the friends, maybe they have some other soul. Well, he writes here that a person should ask to see the greatness of the Creator, to ask to see the greatness of the Creator and faith above reason, and the more he asks he discovers his own loneliness even more than he truly needs the Creator. The moment he discovers his all of his loneliness, he writes it on the first. In the first page, the question is who wants to ask the Creator in order to see his own loneliness? Who wants to see his own loneliness? Can we truly do it? To ask if you know that you're going to discover the worst with you. This is something that we may not be able to do anyone else there. Besides, every time we get into Passover, I have the same problem. How do we read the sources about Passover correctly each time I read? And I kind of check, oh, I'm familiar with this state and that state. Okay, so I'm asking, how do you enter the states of Passover? Because it sounds like things that we've already gone through even in the beginning of the path. Sometimes you even think, so put a V next to it, a check mark. No, I mean, how do I feel like it's repeating itself? You're right, there's something to it. So what can I do? How can I bring my into a state of you have to ask? Ask what a person needs to do is only to ask for what it all seems familiar. I'm familiar with these states. If everything is okay, then everything is okay. At least say thank you, the Creator provided you everything you need. Can I ask, let's say how you read the sources about Passover. You've been through these states dozens of years ago, so how do you read it? I read it like any other person who reads it. What should I get from this holiday of Passover? What should I extract from it? You accumulate everything. Connection, you bring everything into connection toward their goal. Only this way, when you arrange them, you see that you have something in your hands, and you feel what you have new in your hand compared to what you had before. That's how you advance the writings of the Kabbalist. The T person could always instruct something for his path. There's no way that you're correct. Okay, thanks. Then it follows that if a person wants to keep the light MIT, then he needs the Creator to give him help. What does it mean to take something which is light, easy, and suddenly make it important? How do you? What are the light commandments are light because it seems this way to a person. Everything is relative to the person who says that these are light commandments, and because they're light he neglects them. So what was light in my eyes yesterday is now important. And he says that this is actually the recipe, some sort of an art. I mean, we want to reach needing the Create. Take something that is now light in your eyes and make it important, then you'll see that you can do it. Then you will ask for help, like a procedure or recipe. But how do we take something that is light and make it important? Something, and I'll be little. Suddenly I say, no, I want to make this the important. Well, try to do it. How? What will make me do it? Your attention. Now it's not important for me. Make me want it to become important. What do you do if you wish to pay attention to something that's not attractive to you? I need to find a reason for it to attract me, to draw me. Exactly, that's what we need to do. Let's say if we take it to the 10, okay. Because I'm not talking about the study materials that we're repeating at me, but let's take it to the 10, something that now is not so important for me in the 10, and I want it to be important for me. Yes, what do we do for that? So especially for all those things you do, your exercises, how to come closer, how to study something, how to do something even without a desire until it enters the desire. Is a personal matter each time do a little bit of it, or is it something we should also talk about it? Let's now make something more important for us that too adds the desire, even if you pay them to talk about it. Right, there are such examples. If this increases a person's desire, he's willing to pay for it. How do we do it without coercion, or without applying a pressure that may create an opposite response? Well, those are more questions. Already it's all the same scale. The entire article, it speaks about the need. This is the key. Says you should feel how much you are in the nature of in order to receive work, and work to be in order to bestow. Out of then the need will be born different scenarios and variations, but I don't see in reality that I mean half of these things I say. Like the friend said before, I just check it. I mean the state I'm familiar with it. This is my nature. They need to, like what God is also saying. It's not clear from the recognition of evil state where a person feels, and you also say to you to feel it. I understand it, I know it, but the feeling there, need, what brings that we don't know, that that's a root of where soul, or it's out of men's hands a law. Together these exercises that we do, we actually do them in order to awaken within us the importance of not thinking about the Creator and everything. Right, then there are states that he says about the body that suddenly you get this power, and you do feel the importance of the Creator, and then it disappears. So first of all, I want to understand, you talked about it already, but what is the difference now between the state that I had before I made the effort and I received the importance, and the state when it disappeared once again? Why have there been didn't get it? What's the difference between the state that I had? Well, now I made some exercises, I made efforts in the 10. I read articles, I wanted to get inspiration about the Creator and about their stow, and then I did receive this burst of importance of the goal. I worked with it, and then it disappeared. Understand correctly, this is what we were talking about, that state in the part of and Reims where he says he makes some effort and it all goes to the mouth of the abyss, it disappears. So state when it disappears, now there's a new deficiency to what I understand what you said. What is the difference between the deficiency in that state and the deficiency in the beginning when I just started? This, there is a difference between the two of them, the depth of the deficiency, the form of the deficiency. It's closer to the what is the feeling of the distancing from the Creator that we feel? Is it from that state that we feel it? Because had some impression that disappeared for all of these ups and downs? Yes, and last question, what is the difference between all of these states? The question from USA 3 and Mark 6 about what talked about the light MIT. Are they actually contemptible because a person doesn't have the need for help from the Creator because he thinks he can do them by himself? That too, for the time being, that's it. Thanks, as much as I can feel already. States, hard, bad states are revealed, and we don't know how to cope with them. We thought it's going to get easier. No, I wanted to ask, should we relate to these states, or how can we relate to these states as necessary, that without them we will not be able to inherit the land until you cry and the children of Israel sighed from the work. So these states, we need to learn to use them correctly, that without them we will not be able to reach the outcry. You can always turn them to the Creator and ask him for help, and it can't be any way we can't. It can't be without these states. It can be another way. You won't ask for help, and if it were any different, you wouldn't feel that you're even in any development. And we need to feel together that with our common power we will be able to cope with it, because these are truly difficult states we need. It means that if we're not together, it's impossible for a single individual to cope with it. Not together then doesn't even feel he's in a difficult state. Either he feels himself facing a wall, or he lacks any discernments. He lacks discernments. Can how on the one hand to be in a request, and on the other hand to stay deficient, that the two don't conflict. I can ask for something and be deficient for not having that something, but then you're asking for a reward you're already thinking about. Receiving something, some kind of reward, then it's not a light mitzvah anymore. It becomes strict or serious. How to ask without thinking about the reward depends what is the reward. So what is the reward that Rash is talking about here? The reward is aiding the Creator, coming closer to the Creator. So the very fact that now I need help from Him, I reach the feeling that I need help from Him. This isn't a teaching with the Creator already, if that's what you refer to. I want to work for the sake of the Creator. I want to do this work. This is just words. I want to do what Rabash writes. I know this is just words, but I want to reach this feeling. And how do I ask for such a feeling without it being reward? What is reward for you? Suddenly I have a feeling in my desire work. I guess it's the will to receive. So what kind of fulfillment inside which desires you want? I want not to receive in order to receive. I want to start working like the Sists say, to receive pleasure from bestowing. Will that be fulfillment for your reward? I don't know what it will be. This is why I'm trying to scrutinize. What is this reward? What is it that I should ask the Creator for? Because right now I'm interpreting it as reward, because it always comes in as a reward, and I want to finally work correctly. I don't know what to tell you. You want to know what is the reward. I don't want to know what is the reward. I want to work without a reward. I want to work without a reward, and each time I discover in the work that ultimately the reward is what led me. Yes, so how do I cancel that? How do I work so that for the sake of the Creator, for the sake of the need, the deficiency, like Rash writes, and not because I have some taste? I don't know how you come out of this for now, so you don't have a solution. All right. More. No, man does round one round in the work, and get to the foot of the mountain, and then they cry, and their cry comes up to God, and He receives the Holy Soul. Finished round, received an assistance. Continues the work, gets to the point where he's naked, and has nothing. Why? The Holy Soul he received in the first time doesn't help him in the second time. Again, person did one round of the work, then he comes to the foot of the mountain, and they sigh, and their cry rises, and he receives assistance. The Holy Soul continues the work, comes to the same place again after the labor. Why? The Holy Soul you received in the first time doesn't help him in the second time. What does he need to receive it for? Achieve adhesion with the Creator to have an example. And how will he use that? By mimicking it. What it does he studies it in what? In imitating it. Whatever it does, he does the same thing in far of her problems he have. How? By mimicking without intellect, just doing it. Where did you read such a thing? Where did I read that? I have to imitate the upper one without my reason. Yeah, okay, thank you, Ken. Thank you, Rar. He describes a state here where a person is envious, and people off the street he sees that they advance and that he's going backwards, and then it gives birth to a deficiency in him, and he asks, what does he ask? To be in somewhat like their eye. Guess if he's looking at them, and he's envious, and that's not what we're supposed to do. No, okay, so what's the next step from feeling that he's lower than people off the street? And then he asked know if he's less than people on the street. So he supposedly asks to be like them, with the same fulfillment. So what changes him to not want the fulfillment, but want to be close to the Creator and be will to feel distance? Maybe I'll ask differently. Try, does a person need to ask for a deficiency, or he needs to ask to be close to the Creator, to be close to the Creator? Because in most of the article, at least the second part of it, he writes that in order to reach the inheritance of the land we need the deficiency, and that the whole work is to feel that deficiency. Yes, so it's a bit like the previous question. So if I ask to be close to the Creator, it's like I ask for fulfillment, and I don't want to feel deficiency. Yes, okay, so this could give birth to a deficiency that I want to get closer, but he'll give me more distance. Yes, yeah. Thank you. From Turkey 9. Did all the creation, was it all created for us to Ask for help, it sounds very egoistic. It's like the creature presents the ego, and at the same time says ask me for help. That's what he really does. He wants man from within his own ego to get such a form of an ego that it will escort him towards more exalted deficiencies for the benefit of man or the creator friend from continues. Why is it so difficult to ask? Is it correct to first ask to have a deficiency for the request? A person needs to wrap himself with the deficiency to feel the deficiency, and then from that deficiency to turn to the creator. PT 23. The aspect of Payam and Ramsey is that man's overcoming by himself self. That's why it disappears, meaning that it's not assistance from above are the sermons that are revealed from above. Why does it disappear each time, or is swallowed? It's swallowed because that's our work again. You said such a sentence in the lesson that a person should make all the efforts to be worthy of receiving help from above. Yeah, and just have an impression from a discussion in the article that there's two kinds of assistance. There's assistance that a person feels that he's far and he's distant and he's not on the right track and everything disappears. And there's assistance, like you said, also that he for strength from above to actually make an action of the stow. Yes, so how can we what kind of efforts we need to make to receive the right kind of assistance and agree with this the assistance, because maybe I received darkness rather than strength, so we need to try and come closer to that deficiency. See the creator wants to feel in us, and that by that we come closer to the goal. Yep, what else do we have? Yeah, thank you. I wanted to ask why the critical point of our work is to turn to the creator. Everything relies on that. Everything relies on turning to the creator. Because who would you turn to otherwise? If not to the creator, what to? Yourself, out of myself, out of yourself. And who can you turn to? There's none else besides him. No, what can bring us closer to such faith that the creator hears the prayer and waits for our plead? That's something we have to take upon ourselves as an assumption and to keep turning to him, meaning he needs our plea. He needs our plea. Yes, without us discovering a need for his help for his work, so he won't be able to do anything. Because he has no deficiency, we have to bring him a deficiency. The fact that you raise your deficiencies to the creator, by this you're giving him an opportunity or an ability to grow. It's like a child, a baby, when he opens his mouth and wants to receive something from the mother. How happy does it make her? She says thank you to him, and not that he has to thank her. Thank you, morning dear. With what kind of preparation should we enter the Rabbash articles about Passover? What kind of deficiency do we need to have? We need to feel before and during Passover the deficiency to reach redemption, at least the first one that we are overcoming upon our will to receive, and we want to take all desires and passions and thoughts and intentions and prayers from in order to receive to in order to bestow. That is actually Passover, that we go from Egypt to the land of Israel. What what kind of passion the Creator has, what kind of pleasure the Creator has if he helps us. What does he get from it? What does he get from it if he helps us? And if I have a deficiency and I ask him to help me, so say he helps me, so my vessel is now fulfilled. So what happens next? If my vessel is full, afterwards you have to awaken your vessel to have an even greater deficiency. How to our shorten the stir. Yesterday you said that we're in that state of a bluntness, like bluntness of the senses, bluntness of senses. How to shorten by coming closer to the friends. You can sharpen your senses more from the bluntness of the senses. It's difficult to even move. Why? Zombie, it's like a zombie without a desire, without awakening. I don't know what answer him. Do we need such a state of the bluntness of senses? Yes, nobody wants that. How to come to that, how to come out. But That how did I get to it, and how to come out of it. Usually, that's something a person wants. To feel bluntness of senses when he doesn't feel good, or that he doesn't want to feel anything, so he searches for a medication that can blunt his senses. Is that a choice if I already came to that not out of my choice? I just found myself in that state. How to come out of it, how to come out, I don't know, like I don't know do. Alright, let's let it go. What else do we have? We have the gate of intentions for Passover or introduction to the book of So. Well, let's see before we move to the next part of the lesson. We'll sing a song. Teach me how to dance with you. Teach me how to listen, let your words come through. Show me how to give, for you show me how to live like there's only you. Through the fire, hand in hand we melt the ice away, getting higher, closer, lighting up the way. Together in one voice, together in one song, all together in one dance. Together as a one. Together. For together. The fire, hand in hand we melt the ice away, getting higher, closer, lighting up the way. Together in one voice, together in one song, together in one dance. Together as a one. K in us in one voice, me us in one song, need us in one dance, need us as one. Spi. We are reading from the writings of We're reading the introduction to the book of Zed. We are in item 57, introduction to the book of Zohar. Item 57. Now you can understand the identity and the darkness that have befallen us in this generation, such as we have never seen in all the generations preceding us. It is so because even the servants of the Creator have abandoned the engagement in the secrets of their Torah. Maimonides has already given a true allegory about that. He said that if a line of 1,000 blind people walks along the way, and there's at least one leader among them who can see, they're guaranteed to walk on the right path and not fall in pits and obstacles, since they follow the sighted one who leads them. But that person is missing. They are certain to stumble over every hurdle on the way and will all fall into the pit. So is the matter before us. If the servants of the Creator had at least engaged in the internality of the Torah and extended a complete light from the whole generation would have followed them, and everyone would be certain of the way, that they would not fall. But if even the servants of the Creator have distanced themselves from this wisdom, it is no wonder the whole generation is failing because of them, and because of my great sorrow I cannot elaborate on that clear, right? What those who did not engage in it, they too were supposed to follow someone who would lead them. Yes, so what happened? Then why did the one who let them fail? Because they have no leader. They can't walk alone. So the complaint is against those who still working, but the complaint should have been towards the one who was supposed to lead them. So where is the true flaw? Failure in that in people who stop engaging in the internality of the they're not drawn to their Creator, meaning it's each and everyone's responsibility. Actually, you can say that each and everyone gets some kind of drop, a deficiency, and doesn't want to develop it, meaning the 1,000 blind men, they still have their some responsibility to be drawn to the Creator based on the deficiency they've received. Yes, what does it mean to draw complete light? Have meaning in order to fill the entire desire to receive that the Creator created, we need the light of self infinity to draw it, and that it will feel the entire deficiency. All the desire says that they could have done it, but they haven't supposedly. Yes, what about us? Are we able to do that? Can we help you do that? For now we are in that same sentence. What are we missing as a group to help you draw light of himself? Me. Yes, I myself am also discovering lack of forces, lack of responsibility to perform such an action. How can we advance even a little bit towards that will help his friend? You can't demand that of one person, even if he's like Moses. It's hard to say here. If we were all drawn to connect between us, and from that connection, from the connection between us, we'd be drawn to the Creator, we would in somewhat succeed in bringing the back to her place can thank you. Ultimately, they have to follow the one who sees if they have a deficiency. If they have a deficiency, but we say, it's very difficult, time is moving forward and people less and less trust others, rely on others. Everyone feels that he's the boss, the king, and even if he suffers blows, ultimately it's even difficult to say, I like the faith in the sages, as we say, and that's the main obstacle in order to advance anywhere. I didn't see that there were less wise ones, and then people would be drawn more to great people, that they had more forces, well, let's say. So I'm saying there were times where people followed leaders. Today even that doesn't seem to exist, correct? People are getting closed in, closing themselves in smaller and smaller groups, and how will we really follow the teacher, the leader? How will people make such a move? Today nobody bows down exactly towards anybody else, the contrary, they can lie, searching how to be higher, or at least no less than the other. But he writes that the condition is to find the one who sees. Let's say I'm blind, there's one who sees, I'll follow him even if I don't see him, but I can find a few others and they already follow him. How will you know that he is great, right? So we ultimately say the heart feels, the heart asks, how do we? How will ultimately people, you see that even with the blows, it's not, we say, a bit of blows and person will get closer, but even that's so. He says that also the creators workers left this wisdom. No wonder that the whole generation fails because of them, and I cannot elaborate on that. Because of my great sorrow I can't elaborate on that. So he basically says that the chance, if there is such, it's the servants of the creator who decided to make a move out of the generation. Let's say as people who somewhat has awakened, and ultimately we need to be those who awaken the others, also awaken also ourselves and the others, and somehow come close to the creator and are with him in some kind of connection. See, a direct connection. Even, well, we'll see what he writes. Onward. Okay, item 58. Wait. What specify what makes us feel bad? Ultimately nothing happens without the creators will know. Don't tell me things that there's no answers about. No, I want to say the next thing. I think the difficulty is only in our awareness, in our feeling. There's nothing bad in reality, it's just our interpretation to reality. Don't say that either. You understand that you're bringing us supposedly proof. Erase all our questions that will help us advance. I'm sorry. What the main deficiency? You said that each one was given a little bit of deficiency to adhere to the creator and they didn't develop it. Now let's say, if I understand correctly, that's the question. If each one really wants to always increase one's deficiency to the creator and all the rest just attribute to it all the time what the creator gave us, the rob, the friends, all of that, just to adhere to him, to develop this deficiency, to make it really great. Is that correct? Yes. And then all of us will simply connect our deficiencies that will come to a sufficient deficiency to invite the light that to correct. Yes. Thank you. We don't know how to do it. Yeah, it seems like Balaam writes criticism and blames the created being. He writes they distant themselves from this wisdom is blaming the created beings, not also blaming the creator. I don't know, he's speaking about the first generations. It's hard for us to turn to them and talk about those things. What Shom? Shom, hello. Teacher, sorry, but how does he write that? He has great sorrow, and in other places he writes one shouldn't be in sorrow. Both are in man, in each and every person. And he's also a person. When I curse the creator and this stinking creation he created, you tell me everything's okay and none else besides him, it's all golden. And so can you say that? You can say whatever you want, but what will that help by this? Are you changing reality? Or at least towards yourself? Are you opening some kind of picture of the world? I'm trying to understand the world I live in. He can do things that I can't. Why? No, everyone's equal towards the creator. Everyone's equal, okay. But you tell me it's forbidden to be sad many times, right? And here he is sorrow. Why? He really is writing from the magnitude of that sorrow that he can't keep going and so on, because I guess he understands also. Again, it's on us, it's not on him. Supposedly, as much as we are losing by not revealing the Creator correctly, I'll tell you. Teacher, for me, professions and titles and degrees, please don't leave an impression on me. I look at a person's actions and then you tell me none else besides him, and then this is written, and it's like, how do you want me to justify it? There can't be the same key for every life. By this you can't erase or release yourself from all responsibility. No, because according to the way the world was created, each and everyone is responsible for everyone. You see, it's just to try and understand I am responsible for everyone. Now someone can come to me and ask about everyone, about all people in the world, about all the souls, and I must answer about it. Okay, you said it, but I still don't feel sorrow. That's even worse. I can try, but I don't feel that I'm responsible for everyone, that someone cares about me on the outside. How do I influence everyone? That's why if the Creator is organizing creation, he needs to try and bring create beings to the recognition of evil, and they will feel, the created beings, that this evil depends on them, that they caused it, and after that you can judge. Where can you run to from such a sentence? So it's okay to ask for corporeal corrections, should one do so? No, because it's not that important. That's not my issue, my problem. But here it's his, it's a sorrow for him. That's because you don't feel it yet, and also it's hard to by looking at you, it's hard to accept this, that you're so sorry, that you're lacking something. Okay, let's see, what do you think? I also wanted to ask about this point, but a little differently. Rabber was happy when he saw that the temple was ruined, because no, forget about these stories now. But Abraham was happy when he was told no, that to forget about it now. When Bam is sorry here, what does it mean? We deviated from the path of correction. Why does he say from the sorrow? I can't elaborate, because there's probably something in our hands that we are able to use to turn our life upside down to something wondrous, and we're not doing it. That's where the great sorrow he has comes from. Next item, 58. However, I do know the reason it is. Mainly because 1, faith has diminished. In general, 2, faith in the holy ones, the sages of the generations in particular, and 3, the books awful and the so are full of corporeal parables. People are afraid lest they will lose more than they will gain, since they could easily fail with materializing. This is what prompted me to compose a sufficient interpretation on the writings of the AR, and now on the Z, and I have completely removed that concern, for I have evidently explained and proven the spiritual meaning of everything, that it is abstract and devoid of any corporeal image, above space and above time, as the readers will see. The whole of Israel to study the book of Zohar and be warmed by its sacred light. I have named that commentary the Sulam ladder, to show that the purpose of my commentary is as the role of any ladder. If you have an attic filled abundantly, all you need is a ladder to climb, and then all the bounty in the world is in their hands. But the ladder is not a purpose in and of itself, for if you pause on the rungs of the ladder and do not enter the attic, your goal will not be achieved. So it is with my commentary on the Zohar, for the way to fully clarify these most profound of words has not yet been created. Nonetheless, with my commentary I have constructed a path and an entrance for any person by which to rise and delve and scrutinize the book of Zed itself, for only then will my aim with this commentary be completed. Can no yes questions, as if the commentary on the latter is clear to every person, but when you read it, seems, where does he write that it's all clear? He says it's approachable for every person, it's suitable for every person to use the latter commentary to correct himself, correct his soul, even though he doesn't understand what's written in the commentary itself. Some person, you mean me, when I read the commentary of the lad, I don't understand what's written in there, so you should invest more in that we should try and understand or just draw the light. I don't know what. Exactly both this and that. No thank you. It seems that in this item takes responsibility for the generation. He says I opened it in some way, and then he says that he's preparing it for the ones coming after him to take what he did and to keep opening it. So what does it mean to take responsibility for generation? How do you do it? We have to understand that basically the latter commentary is what Bassem gave us and what he told his students. They'll take the latter commentary, and it wasn't a book, it was a bunch of books like that, and they would tie together these 21 volumes, and everyone would take a volume and put it in his hands and in his lap, and then hold other volumes in his hands. And so he took those. They took those sets of books. Each one had like 4 sets, and they would go to bunch of places to try and sell them, and he was very worried that concerned at that they will all go and sell them, and what about us? That's it. And when I took that, when I took books, such sets of books from our study place, and I brought them to all kinds of places in the centre of the country, no one wanted to receive them, even if I would give them for free. I would come back and say I only sold 2 sets, and I haven't sold anything, I just paid for it myself. And that was what happened with the. So what can I tell you? Put his soul into it. To him this was, well, sacred, but the world treated it that way. So what about now? What should we do now? I don't know. Now it's a different time, different people, difficult for them to detach from their television or newspapers or all kinds of things and invest themselves in the commentary of the latter. That's where are we, and where is that what to do? Keep going nevertheless, and prepare ourselves for such times, such incidents that will come to the generation that they will nevertheless want to use the latter commentary and bring themselves to a higher degree. It doesn't depend on us to take responsibility for the generation. We don't even know how to advance towards that. If you go out to the street today to sell the latter commentary on the book, the Tsar, you'll see that people don't understand what's this, for how many kilograms you need to have in those books. It's just paper, just like that. I'm telling you, I took a bunch of sets of books to our and all those areas where I used to live. I lived in. I didn't feel any response from anyone. There were a few people who took them to do me a favor. That's it, for free, of course. They didn't pay for it. When a mother of one of the students passed away, there were 4 us students. Not mother passed away. That was about the 1950, something along these lines. So they asked Rash what to do to honor their mother, and he said instead of whatever you would think of doing the Memorial Day and on her grave and whatever else. No, just buy 100 sets of said of the Zohar with the latter commentary and try to spread it across the country. Till they tried, and it didn't work out. I understood that they couldn't even do it. Maybe it was very difficult. We already understood it was not going to work, so I started taking every day a set or 2 sets. 21 volumes is quite a lot, and barely I couldn't even sell it. I just gave it. People didn't want, because you can't burn it, you can't do anything with that. Now if you have a room in your home where you can put them, okay, no one wanted to take them. That's how it is. Maybe there's something that we're lacking between us that we're not doing between us. No, this is it's still the general atmosphere around the Zohar and those books, and this commentary is difficult. You have to dive into it, and you have to open it up. You have to read it as something that tells you about yourself and how many such people exist in the world. I don't think so. I gave those sets to great rabbis and smaller ones and synagogues and any hole I can put them in. Those who took them, they did it to respect me, to honor me. I was also quite known in That area of and around. That's it, Ken. Yes, it was clear why they didn't want to. Take it like you said, how can a person even study this? How can he open? It needs someone who understands, someone who can lead, know what a person can open it on his own and feel that he can come close to it. He reads it as a remedy. He reads it as a remedy against anything bad that might happen. God forbid he needs to believe in the forces. Yes, so that means against illnesses. Fire, whatever. I feel that the generation, the previous one and this one, don't know the essence of these books yet, and obviously don't know how to use them, and there aren't any study groups, enough study groups that you can support such a study. So just to give it to someone, they'll say I have nothing to do with this, even if there's someone who theoretically knows that in the saw there are remedies. I don't see how he could have taken and start doing it in such a way. If he could, he do it to begin with in other ways maybe, but there's what we're lacking, I guess, are groups that know how to go deeper into this book somehow, or to open it and read it. I don't know any except for our group that know how to take such a commentary and read it or engage in it in any kind of way. Yes, that's true, that's correct. Okay, yes. Gillard, today we don't walk around with books under our arms, but every evening at 7:30 we read the all for half an hour, with 2-3 clips of yours that you explain how to make the intention or something, and it's beautiful moments. It's magical moments at the end of the day to listen to it, no matter if you understand or not, just a gift from above, and it's great for the ones that are doing it, and I wish we knew how to disseminate that. Today nobody walks around with books. We have media. Okay, we will try, yes. D. He said that a person who reads the book of said with a commentary of the letter as a remedy, it can save them against everything, diseases, fires. What is that? What do you mean? Can you explain how it works? No, it's a higher force that guards the person who relates to the saw. That way can we tell a person if he reads the book of said, he will prevent disasters and trouble from himself, from his life. Well, you can't promise that to a person that way, but basically, yes. He starts item 48. He gives a reason, or 3 reasons why the creators, workers, have moved them away from the internality of the tar. They say that they have lost faith, and if the book of said that is full of allegories, so that's why he wrote the commentary. But the fact that there's lacking faith, so what about that? Look, what can you do? There's nothing to do. That's how the world is built, that the evil that is revealed to the same extent that it can be corrected, and the Creator further and further limits and increases other evil, and reveals that extent in the world, and what will bring people to study only troubles. If you ask me, only troubles. When will people start valuing Kabbalists as spiritual leaders of a generation? When spirituality will begin to be appreciated. There's nothing to do here. Yes, today the state is a bit different. The book of said in many places that people study and they read it. They study, I guess, as a remedy also between the groups that are trying to study according to be. So we're still not connected. What I can say that at least I live people in the community know that I'm studying. I don't hide it. Also, the head of the community once asked me years ago for sets of rash, and I gave it to him. He bought them with money he paid for it, and beyond that I remember that at least a year ago one of them asked me about some paragraph from the Peace article, and I was in shock. I was like frozen. That I didn't have to explain, because there's no basis to explain it. On the religious people know what recognition of evil and what the work we do. There aren't any words to explain it. The question is if we as a group. I asked you this many years ago, and I understood that the answer was no. Back then, is it right for us to connect to other groups that study in somewhat? Maybe it's the right time now, because at least what B says that the people who are searching for the path to the Creator, that's the connection. Where do You see such people, there are more groups that study. Be sure, but other than that I'm speaking about that first I'm not going to the whole world, I'm speaking there and what's close to us try to connect. Please just make sure it doesn't cause separation among you but to me there's no I have no desire to prevent you. No, if you find such people who want the same goal, following the same books as ours, and they have a spirit of connection, why not? I don't object to it. It's the question of whether this will truly work for the better. As far as I know, there were such people in the times of Rapash, and it didn't go well, and therefore when I was with him there were 7, 9 other people, men who would stud in holidays. There were of course more, because then all of the landlords can, that's it, so why not go ahead? I'll be delighted. I'm just very concerned, afraid that you might ruin yourselves by that, so pay attention to that, meaning there has to be some directorate here, let's say, and everything should be only with this directorate's confirmation, but the fact that at some point it will change, that's all it'll be to me, and that it will get to a point where others can come, or we can connect with others. That too, yes. Last week, manager of a website that sells courses to many people, and we showed him courses. He said it's very nice, but who are these people who give these lessons? They're not in authority. So we showed him you, and he says, oh, that's interesting. Yes, so my question is, it seems that after all these years, at least in Israel, at least from what I know, the only authority for studying is, only. And the question is, how are the future look towards the state? This I don't know. Whatever happens after me, I don't know. I'll say why I'm asking. I said, see that these great friends here that are in authority for me, at least they would all, and I'd say why it's an authority, but suddenly I saw the external eyes of that person. He says, who are these people? Therefore I went to do my PhD, to also have that in the name, and that's it. I don't know what else to do, but that's the only reason I did that. I don't know, but I think there will come a time you don't need to chase all kinds of titles and names, but there will come a time when it will be clearer, when it will be received. Okay, I know a few people in all kinds of frameworks and children, and I don't want to confuse too much, but I know that bees wisdom is expanding in many places, all kinds of, and places that study, and they're raising a new generation according to him. The question is, I see it's not coming through us, but through other groups or all kinds of individuals that discover it and advance with it, and they find more people who want to try and do it together, meaning groups grow on their own, people discover it on their own or from other groups and not through us. So the question is, what does that mean, that it's not through us, and not that there are more that are leading bees path ahead? Let it be so. How should we work beside it, with it in a certain way? Not today, but 10, 20, 30 years. How do we deal with it, that there are more has arms in many areas? Yes, don't know this dynamics towards those bodies. I don't engage in there. I see it growing from the side and getting stronger. I know that my somewhere that they quote in their study places, and it's a wisdom that is starting to be clarified as something good and relevant to our generation through people's education, mainly they years it, not those religious older places, but still it's the new schools, and I'm asking myself, how do we need to see it work beside it, if at all? Maybe later on to talk about it, but I just want to put that question on the table just so you know that it's happening around us. I'm familiar with that, I know, and to some extent I respect it, but in truth I'm not so connected to that, and also Rabash didn't want to be connected to that. I don't have what to add, I really don't. There's people that study with other Rabash students, that they take the wisdom from them. Yes, I know, I see it also brings them closer. Suddenly ultra or people understand that there's be, and they're drawn and they devote themselves to it, and they start researching it. Okay. Yes, I understand. I know I am happy about that it's spreading, and it doesn't matter to me that it doesn't come through us, and may there be more and more such groups. Yeah, but I have nothing to add. You have to understand that I already finished my life and I don't have much left, and as much as I still can I will try. Good luck to you. No more. That's it. Announcements. Monday. 1120 talks about the path at noon. The lesson 530 reading test, and at 7:30 reading. Z end with the so moon for for a person is able to develop internally to feel infinite spiritual vibrations as we go through history. Our consciousness is developing. A creature is being formed that's capable of perceiving the unified field of everything. Everything in the universe is vibrating. The majority of the vibrations are above us, above physics. Spiritual scientists who performed these experiments felt other vibrations that are outside of their protein carbon body. They say that everything that's emanating there is good and eternal, so if we are suffering, we're not in touch with that, and the whole purpose of our lives is to be in that eternal love that permeates all of reality. A person is able to develop internally to feel infinite spiritual vibrations as we go through. The purpose of our life is to learn how to be able to perceive the love, the intention behind the entire system that I just described, so that we would be able to feel and see the root of our existence and all of reality, even here in this world, as a human in our heart. And that is what Kabbalah tunes a person to, trains them towards, and delivers to a person. It is the revelation of the system of nature itself that creates, sustains, and guides life. The purpose of our life is to learn how to be able to perceive the